All right. So you can hear me? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, and then I will move on to what we what we'll be talking about. Yep. All right. Thank you, Unitopia. Hey, everybody. Thanks, Mama T. Hey, Christine. Hey, Koi Kane. Unitopia. Ruth, hot tea drinker. How you guys doing? Hey, Better with Irish. Yep. Thank you. Daily reminder, KJ is trash bag. We'll just leave that for a bit. Yeah, so I will not be showing my face today. That is not going to happen. Um I've got the worst headache, y'all. It's probably just from reading all this crap. But and I've got my puppy next to me, so if you hear all kinds of weird noises. I know, right? It's okay, Unitopia, because if Luke doesn't bring his butt in here, somebody has to say it for him. So you're designated for that until I'm gonna have to contact him. I have to send that boy an email. I haven't talked to him in a bit. So I know we haven't heard that in a while. I was always in he'd always go into Charlotte's chat, wouldn't he? So okay. If he comes in here, then we'll pin him, but I don't know if he will. Like I said, I need to send him a message. Hey, Running Gray Wolf. Yes, I hope everybody's having a great weekend. Yeah, my fur baby's right next to me. He is such a mess, y'all. So I decided to just stay in the room and put him up on the bed with me and try to set it up this way. And I'm going to try to do my best today to not have any have any issues trying to pull up these documents. It wouldn't let me do it the way I needed to, but I think I've got an alternative way of doing it. So $30 million in damages. Yikes. There's so much. Yes, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. I need to get the channel back in the algorithm. Get shown some more. I'm just not there. So that definitely helps. It's a free way to support this channel. So I'm going to just kind of give it a couple minutes, but last night I was finishing up a video, the one that I just put on my channel regarding Feisty and that whole lawsuit over on that end, which is just ridiculous. It's just a mess. And so I was finishing it up and I was kind of starting to get a migraine. And then I got a message. I got someone DM me that there were new filings. I'm like, what? I just checked the website. So there's a lot of stuff that we didn't know was happening. And I think we said that last time I went live, we're like, well, we don't really know. We don't really know what happened in the October 17th hearing. Now we have a better idea because of what was filed and what this December 31st hearing is all about. So remember, whenever we were talking and I was like, I don't really, hey, Blake, hey, Frenchie, hey, Goose. I was, saying I don't really know what this December 31st hearing is. Is it because they didn't really get to, finish like what was heard, right? Because we know that the October 17th hearing was the motion for Katie Joy's motion to reconsider the ruling on summary judgment, right? And right before then, 7M filed their motion for a temporary injunction. And remember, Katie Joy also filed a motion. I don't know why I kind of but she filed a motion for discovery sanctions and reclassification of documents. And I don't know if we really talked about that on the live, but I know that I talked about it in a video. So we kind of have to go back to that because one of the filings that happened yesterday was Katie Joy filed an amended motion for sanctions for discovery sanctions. Remember, they were saying that Robert Shin did not provide certain financial records, and they wanted to she wanted to get a change, like reclassification of documents. So, as we know, there is a protective order on this case for discovery, and there is. We know that a lot of the issues with discovery, at least my thought was, and it's kind of showing that's what the case is. A lot of the issues with discovery is that with this protective order of discovery, 7M can say this is highly confidential. This is for attorney's eyes only. Therefore, Katie Joy cannot see this stuff that we're providing in discovery, certain financial documents or whatnot. And so that discovery or that protective order happens with the original judge in this case. And that happened in like February of 23. And Katie Joy is wanting them to remove it completely. Just altogether remove it. Thank you so much. I know I'm not going to say your name right. Thanks. Hopefully this will help with the algorithm. It certainly will. Thank you so much. Zuna, look, y'all, my eyes are so bad. Zuna on numbers. Zuna, no numbers. Forgive me. I appreciate you so, so much. Thank you so much. The last public tax filing I saw of hers was 2023. What? She only claimed $37,000 in 2023. Hey, Misty Mo. I am doing great. I hope you're doing well. This is not related, but I wanted to say I'm glad to see you over in the other chats that I'm seeing you in. So I just wanted to tell you that. I know every time I'm in chat, a lot of times I want to address you and say hi, but usually I'm just listening and I don't get to chat much. So thank you for joining, Misty. All of you guys, thank you so much for joining. If I have not said hello to you, hi. All I'm doing is just recapping kind of what we are with this case and what happened on October 17th. But yeah, there is, again, thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate that. Yeah, you know what I mean, Misty. I was surprised, Misty Mo. I'm not going to lie. I was shocked to see you over in the chats I'm in, but I'm so glad that I do. Yeah, right? Let's confirm that again. Indeed, right? Goose, she has not filed since 2020. I'm sure she's filed since 2023, but maybe the ones that she saw, the last one was 2023. And are you saying that she only filed for 37,000? I mean, again, all hearsay. I don't know. Maybe that's something I can look into. But I really don't care about her taxes because I think that if anybody does, it's going to be Robert Shin. And I get you, Misty. Sometimes we do just have enough. But I think the only one that really is going to care about her taxes is going to be Robert Shin. So there's a lot to kind of go over. So I'm going to start. But like I was saying, you think she's going to be panicking in private? I think she's been panicking. And when you see what we're going to be looking at. Now, again, there were a lot of filings. There were filings on both parts. But as a reminder, because I don't know how much I really talked about this, before the October 17th hearing, which was the motion to reconsider summary judgment, that is still under review. 7M filed a motion for a temporary injunction. That is still under review. That was heard on October 17th. What was brought up was this motion that Katie Joy filed right before the October 17th hearing, and it was her motion for discovery sanctions and reclassification of documents. So basically, she's saying Robert Shin didn't provide certain financial records. He's done it now. And that she wants to do two things with the classification of certain documents, and that is to remove completely the attorney's eyes only stipulation on discovery. I don't see that happening. the judge back in 2024, it was a different judge. And that judge seemed to be a little bit more on Katie Joy. I don't want to say a judge is on whoever's side. That's not what I'm saying. But it seemed like Katie Joy had, at that time, she had a stronger case, y'all. But she's kind of ruined it for herself in a lot of ways, especially since the docuseries came out and she's been running her mouth going crazy. And then after the raid, and in both of those, she thinks that it's just justified her whole situation, and it's justified all of her what 7M considers defamatory statements, right? And so she brags about making 90,000. She only claimed 37,000 for the entire year. Yeah, on that what was it? Nene Marie put out the body cam, didn't she? And when the cops came to Katie Joy's, I think it was for the Brian Laundrie situation, when somebody had called and said that Brian Laundrie was in her basement, and the cops showed up and on body cam, and Nene put that body cam out, and Katie Joy was bragging to the cops that she makes over $90,000 a month. Yes, Butter with Irish, and we're gonna kind of look at that too. She's already put some discovery out online. She denies that, and well, her attorney denies it in one of these motions. I don't know if it's one of the motions or whatnot, but yeah, it was during the cops showed up during Brian Laundrie. Someone called and said, it was probably Katie Joy herself who called, allegedly, that Brian Laundrie was in her basement. And then she bragged to the cops about how much money she made. Yes, we've been waiting a long time for consequences. So the October 17th hearing happened. Remember last time we went live, I was like, I don't really know what all was heard, what's going to happen in this December 31st hearing. Well, now we know. The December 31st hearing is going to address more of their discovery sanctions and them. Oh, so they're wanting to remove the attorney's eyes only stipulation on discovery. And they're also, for whatever reason, and y'all feel free to please put your thoughts in this, because I've been talking to some other people, but there's somebody that I talked to who's more on the side of 7M. They have a lot of knowledge regarding the dancers and their history. And even with the dancers that were part of 7M, but left. So, but for whatever reason, the other thing they want to change is they want all the depositions to be made public, because 7M made them confidential. And and of course, 7M is like, yeah, no, not happening to everything pretty much. So, okay. So what happened yesterday with these filings? Again, I was making this video. I was just over it and I was ready to, it was almost done. And then I got notice that there were all these filings. I'm like, shit, I have to go read all these. There were like 15 filings in total, but basically what they are, I'm trying to think of how to put this the best way. Like, what's the best order to put this in? She's digging for more information to put on her channel. And again, y'all, and I'm going to say this now before I forget, and I've said this before, and this is just my thought, this is just my theory. I think Netflix has had a part 2 in the works. And again, when that raid happened on Robert Shin's properties in June, it was on June 25th, I believe. Was it July? July 25th? When that happened, the director of Netflix, the Dancing for the Devil, he was there. And so I've always thought, and there's been other reasons too, why I've thought, there's been several reasons why I've thought that Netflix is preparing a part 2. And that obviously is going to be if or when Robert Shin is arrested. And I have my opinions on that, and people will say, "Oh, if you think that he's not a bad person and he's not going to be arrested, then you're a cult sympathizer." Whatever. Okay. I've never spoken to Robert Shin. I have no alliances either way. Katie Joy absolutely has defamed them. What she's done to Miranda is awful. So I think that they are waiting to do a part two, and that if he gets arrested, that will kick it in gear. But I also think, and by looking at the past filings and these filings, a lot of the stuff that Katie Joy wants, I think, is specifically for that docuseries, if you want to know the truth. But that's just my thought. Yeah, she thought Robert would be arrested. I think she thought that, she really came forward and said, "Oh, after the docuseries that it proved everything." Well, as we'll see here, and we've saw it in recently in the last one of the last filings that 7M made, is that they're saying that this raid that occurred on Robert Shin's properties are strictly because of Katie Joy and her total disregard for the truth. I think those were the words that Amber Stavig used. So here is what we have. I'm going to share the screen of what is on the website. Okay. It's going to be hard to read, but I've got, because I read them and I highlighted them. So I have my notes to go over. So we're not going to go through them verbatim. Okay. That's just going to, no, my head hurts. Y'all don't want all that. I can guarantee you that. Let me sign into the website here. And then I have them numbered how I wanted to pull them up. Let me see. But I think what we'll do is, hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me go back so I can share the screen. And then you'll be able to see what all I'm looking at. Okay, hold on. So as you can see, there's all these filings. I can't see chat right now, but because I'm on another screen, but here's all the filings that happened yesterday. What? Okay, so I'm just going to point out what each one is, and then I'm going to try to do a summary of what it all is, because there's a lot of repeats. Okay, so this amended motion, right, is what 7M, I'm just going to go ahead and put it up on the screen. Is that showing that? No. Oh, good grief. I have another way of doing it, but I don't know if that's going to be the best way. Okay. There, that should have done it. Did that do it? Yeah, now let me see if I can make it bigger. Bear with me. Whoa, what the heck? All right, is that better? Why didn't it get bigger? Did it not go bigger on y'all's screen? It did on mine. Let's see. Okay, regardless, right? So this is there, and I'm going to pull this up on mine so I can read it off of mine. All right, I know there's a lot of dead air here. Bear with me. Okay, so is that too hard to see? Okay, you can see it. It is bigger. Okay. All right. So basically, now I can't even pull it up on my end over here. This is so wild. Oh, there it is. That's just me being a ding dong. That's all right. Okay. So basically, yeah, I'm distracted because my husband was trying to call, but let me send him a message real quick and just let him know I'm on a live stream because I don't think he knows. Then I'll get my act together. Okay, so they're amended, and I don't really know how much I'm going to be able to show. Okay, so basically, what they are requesting, they're basically saying that on December 31st, this is what's to be heard on December 31st, right? And what they're requesting is sanctions for spoliation of evidence, including corrected affidavits, targeted searches of social media archives, production of undisclosed accounts, adverse. Hold on, where am I? I'm doing this so backwards, y'all. Okay. Sanction for spoliation of evidence, removal of improper confidentiality designations, including all attorneys' eyes only. So, all sanctions for failure to produce court ordered financial discovery, including preclusion of damages claims based on lost social media income, and then reopening discovery for 60 days because they wanted to pose Hannah Shin, Shirley Kim, and then Robert Shin possibly again. Okay, so this was their amended one. So now if I go back, let me see if I can pull up. The memorandum is a long one. We're not going to go through this word for word. But as you see, this is what they are coming back with. But let me tell you something. According to all of the correspondence that we see between the parties, 7M produced whatever it is they were lacking. Okay. And so basically, here's how it goes. Katie Joy filed this motion. It was not heard on the October 17th, so they moved it to December 31st. Okay. After the October 17th hearing, there was a lot of communications between the parties, right? So Amber Stabig and Jennifer Moore, they had a lot of correspondence, and some of it's kind of funny. I don't know if funny is the word, but you know what I mean. It's just like you see the difference between Amber Stabig and Jennifer Moore. And I know Katie Joy is like, my attorney's the best. My attorney, like she's in these, like over on Reddit subreddits talking about how wonderful her attorney is and talking about how her attorney is representing her in this person who is a sex trafficker and he's suing her, like all of these things, and they're the best attorneys. But when you see these correspondence, and we'll go through some of them, when you see this correspondence between the two parties, it's ridiculous, y'all. Like honestly. So there's all this correspondence. Well, Katie Joy's attorney is like, look, we need to talk about this. We need to meet and confer. And here's what we need to talk about. And so then 7M responds, whatever. So eventually they agree and they have a conference on December 5th. Okay. So then Katie Joy's attorney comes back and on December 5th and says, okay, here's the recap of what, I'm going to try to pull up this other one here. Here's the recap of what we went over today. And Amber Stefik is like, whoa, what are you talking about? Like, That's not what we talked about. You're saying all of these things. Here's 7M's memorandum. Okay, so they had this. They met on the 5th, and so after that, so basically, 7M provided everything they were supposed to provide. So now this, motion for discovery sanctions is kind of null and void. But they're still going after the whole idea that they want to have for attorney's eyes only removed. And for whatever reason, and I still can't figure out why, do we think the judge has seen KJ berating them? Yes, absolutely. If they've read all the motions, yes, they will see that. Why they want to have all the depositions made publicly, I don't know. And I'm sure, like I said, when I was talking to a friend of mine, we tend to think that it's if they are going to do a part 2 for the Netflix docuseries, they want to have the depositions, right? So 7M provided their I guess tax records that they said that they hadn't provided. And that was it. So they provided it. And 7M is like, by the way, okay, by the way, let me pull this up on my phone. I'm trying to think of the best way. This is the way that, this is one we're looking at. Basically, by the way, it says plaintiffs will and hereby do move the court at a time to be set by the court for an order finding defendants, finding Katie Joy in contempt for their failure to comply with paragraphs 8 of the court's order on motions to compel, dated January 29th of 2024. Okay, so 7M, obviously, and this is part of the filings. It's funny to me because their original whenever they were requesting the interrogatories and production of documents, they put those as filings again, like, hey, dumbasses, since you don't remember what all you're supposed to be providing in discovery, here's a reminder. And so they put that back up. But basically what they're saying is that Katie Joy has, not provided her tax documents, but not only that, here, let me scroll down. Wilma June, stop. If you hear my dog grunting, she's a pain in my tush. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to go down here so y'all can see. Yeah, all my dogs are in my room with me, so if you hear coughing and gagging and grunting, just ignore them. So basically, the court held that defendants must produce tax documents for Katie Joy and Without a Crystal Ball, and determined that the requested financial records are discoverable because, and this was from that order, the issue of whether defendants were compensated, how much they were compensated, and by whom they were compensated from January 2020 to present is relevant to defendants' motives in discussing plaintiffs on social media platforms, including the depth, length, and substance with which plaintiffs were the focus of Katie Joy's discussions. And they're saying that she has not provided tax records and also undisclosed sources, which, y'all, hasn't she sat here and said that she's provided everything and that 7M hasn't provided anything? That's what I recall. All right, so let's look at the one thing that I think we'll look at the most is going to be their motion for contempt. And so 7M Katie Joy filed their amended motion, and then 7M came in and filed their motion for contempt and sanctions, saying that Katie Joy hasn't provided her tax records and undisclosed sources. And there was a video that Katie Joy did. Let me pull that up because that's one of the filings here. Let me see if I can find the one that's just one page. I believe this is it right here. Let me see if this is it. Yep, this is it. Okay. So does everybody remember this video that Katie Joy did? Basically, she said in that video that she has all kinds of evidence that she can provide at trial, and there was another thing that she had stated that if Robert Shin is arrested and charged and she needs to be a witness, that she has all this evidence, that is coming back to bite her in the ass. That is coming back to bite her in the ass. So they're saying that, and let me go back to the, I cannot pull up these stupid, it's like, all right. Here it is. Open and edit. Show this tab instead. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And let's scroll down. So basically, it's saying that plaintiffs respectfully request that the court grant their motion for a contempt arising from defendant Katie Joy Paulson, also known as Katie Joy, and Without a Crystal Ball, collectively, the defendants, willful violation of the court's order on motions to compel dated January 29th, 2024, which required defendants to produce tax documents and undisclosed sources. Plaintiffs fully satisfied their obligations under Minnesota Civil Rule P3701, Minnesota Civil Rule Procedure 3701, by attempting in good faith to resolve the discovery dispute without court intervention. Despite plaintiffs' repeated requests and multiple efforts to address the issue, Katie has refused to provide the ordered documents and answers to discovery. Katie Joy's ongoing non-compliance is deliberate, unjustified, and severely prejudicial to plaintiffs' ability to prepare their claims. Therefore, a finding of contempt is necessary to compel compliance and uphold the authority of the court. And their statement of facts, on or about May 11th of 2023, they're saying that, this is whenever they filed their production of documents. And this is what Katie Joy has not complied to, which is within that request for production of documents, number 17 and 18, she still has not provided, and that's the request for all tax documents for Katie Joy and Without a Crystal Ball. I think number 17 was Katie Joy, number 18 is Without a Crystal Ball. Also on that same date, it's their production of documents, numbers 11 through 16, that she still has not provided. And that has to do with correspondence. And what I've noticed whenever I was kind of going through these filings, again, we're not going to go through all of it too fully because there's a lot of things that are repeated, but it looks like they're really wanting correspondence between her and the Wilkings, y'all. I haven't been reading chat at all. So if there's been any questions, I'll let you know when I'm back looking at chat. So if there's any questions that you have, you can type them like in capital letters, and then I'll see that there's a question that you had. But I'm going to go back to reading this real quick. Oh, shit, where did it go? Oh my God, y'all. I'm about to lose it, y'all. Okay. Oh my lord. I really don't know why this just keeps disappearing. Okay. So it talks about, and it's funny, like I said, because then they provided those again as exhibits in this last filing. That they put their first set of interrogatories and requests for production of documents. And so it's saying of all the ones that she has not provided, and what they were all kind of, what they were basically, who she's communicated with, who she's talked to about all the defendants, etc. And also they seem to be emphasizing communicating with the Wilkings. Okay, so let's get down here. So now, so then the order was on January 29th of 2024. The court ordered defendants produce the requested responses to plaintiff's request for production, number 17 and 18 for tax documents, and interrogatory 12 for plaintiff's sources. Y'all, she's still not given up her sources. Now, she listed some of them, but here's the thing. I think what's happening here is, with her coming up with that screenshot that I just showed you of that 7M put in as evidence here of the video Katie Joy did, she's talking about how she has new evidence of stuff. And she's kind of, insinuating that there are other sources that she has. So 7M is saying, you don't, this isn't limited to just X, Y, and Z. Like, you have to provide all of your sources. And so this says, court further found that, okay, then there's a certain interrogatories that she needed to provide, and she still hasn't. Obviously, that's why they're bringing up those numbers. And I probably will do a video with just what she still has to provide, because coming on here and doing this, y'all, it's I can't go through everything, and I don't want to do another video where I go through the entire filings verbatim, because believe me, it's a lot. And I just want to hit the key points, because basically, and I'll say it again right now, 7M filed their motion for sanctions, and to change, to take off for attorney's eyes only and all that. And then 7M provided that discovery. So then Katie Joy came back and they did an amended filing that we're going to look at. We kind of looked at a little bit. I'll kind of go over that in a bit. But the main thing is that after the October 17th hearing, they had a lot of communications. Then they met in person, or I think it was a phone conference on the 5th of December, and they cannot agree on shit. And basically, Amber Stavig is like, everything that you just put in this letter, where you are recapping what we talked about, it's not even accurate. Like, where are you even getting this information? So 7M went ahead and filed this motion for sanctions, because Katie Joy is refusing, apparently, to provide her tax documents. And Jennifer Moore actually says it in one of her letters that she's not going to. And we'll look at that in a bit. So then it jumps to where it says, on December 5th, plaintiff's counsel met and conferred with defendant's counsel and discussed the outstanding discovery matters. On or about Friday, December 5th, defendant's counsel sent a letter incorrectly describing the meet and confer meeting. Defendant's December 5th, 2025 correspondence included the statement, "I will not produce defendant's tax returns while plaintiff remains in violation of the same court order by failing to produce social media monetization records." Now, y'all, that was not in her discovery. And you'll see that's something that 7M brings up, like, I'm sorry that you forgot to request certain things in discovery, but you didn't request it. But out of good faith, we'll go ahead and we'll provide that. So basically what they're saying is, well, okay, since you provided your tax records that, or whatever financial records it was they were saying they didn't provide, they're like, okay, well, we need your monetization records for all of their social media. So what did all of their social media bring in? What was the details of all their monetization for Instagram, TikTok, etc.? And she's like, well, Amber Sapping's like, well, that really wasn't supposed to, it wasn't in discovery, but we'll provide it anyways. And then it says, plaintiffs to date provided all information in their possession pursuant to defendants' discovery requests, including documents which were not requested by defendants during discovery. And that's what we were just talking about, I believe the monetization records. On or about Friday, December 5th, plaintiff's counsel replied via email objecting to the incorrect statements in defendant's December 5th letter and requesting clarification on request. So basically, she's like, okay, what you're saying doesn't make sense. Can you clarify? Like, this isn't what we talked about. You need to clarify what you're wanting. To date, defendants have refused to produce any of the alleged sources and documentation they claim to have in their possession as required by those interrogatories. Whoa. What happened there? To date, defendants have refused to provide any tax documents or undisclosed sources as required by the court's order. To date, defendants have refused to produce any supplemental discovery with third parties, including but not limited to News Nation regarding plaintiffs as required by plaintiffs' request for production documents, and then also the Netflix docuseries. So plaintiff's motion for contempt should be granted as defendants have failed to comply with valid court order. So basically, Katie Joy hasn't provided anything, and she's sitting there and acting like, yeah, you know what? Hey, Frisco Chicken, good to see you, by the way. Maybe Katie didn't file taxes. Look, you know how she's always like going after everybody else? Oh, we're going to, the IRS, et cetera, et cetera. I've always wondered. It's a good point. Yeah, Katie thinks she gets all this information. She forgets she's the one being sued. Hey, Gingerly. It's okay if you're late. We're just basically what's happening here is there's a lot of filings, but a lot of them are duplicates and it's repeating itself. 7M back before October 15th filed a motion saying, for sanctions, saying that 7M didn't provide certain financial documents and they want to remove the attorney's eyes only stipulation on discovery. So they amended that and filed that. And because 7M did provide whatever it was they were seeking, they had to amend it. And 7M is like, look, we told you, we've been asking you for a long time now. And what's funny is because they haven't been showing this. They haven't shown that they've requested Katie Joy to provide tax documents and some of her sources. But apparently they've been asking and she hasn't done it. How long can you get in jail for being in contempt? I don't know. I'm sure that all of the times differ for different cases, different situations. And in a second, we'll look at what it is that 7M is requesting because it's kind of funny. So basically so 7M is saying she's in contempt. Okay, so this is just, their motion is obviously much longer. They're saying that Katie's noncompliance with the court order is willful. And look, I believe it because I truly think that Katie Joy is banking on the fact that Robert Shin is going to be arrested. And she's just not providing stuff. Hey, Luck Lady. And I don't think that's the case, y'all. Honestly. Um, I don't know. And so, as it says here that her noncompliance, it says, let me see. Plaintiffs served a final written request on November 21st. Okay, this is through all the, and that's what we're going to go through is their back and forth. It's hilarious, y'all. Final written request on November 21st, demanding the outstanding discovery materials, including tax documents, source disclosures, communications with media outlets such as News Nation, the quote unquote dozens of clips defendants publicly admitted possessing in their June 24th, 2025 YouTube video. Additionally, plaintiffs met with defendants to confer on December 5th. And at no time did defendants claim any inability to produce the required documents, nor did they claim they were unavailable. So let me show you, because this is funny. Now, keep in mind, this is only the proposed order, okay? So this is not an order. This has not been ordered. This is what, hold on, let me share the screen. Okay, so the proposed order is this, y'all. Let's just skip to the good stuff. Basically, it's saying, well, findings of fact that the court, okay, so this is just a proposed order. This is not an order, but this is, if the judge is, agrees with everything, they'll sign off on this. And this is why, this is where it says that they want Katie Joy in jail. This court has subject matter jurisdiction. This court order dated January 29th clearly required defendants to respond to plaintiffs' requests for documents, and those are tax documents and source information, who her sources are. Defendants received actual notice of court's order. Plaintiffs made multiple requests, reminders, and good faith attempts to resolve the issue without court intervention. And it's funny because in all of Katie Joy's attorney's letters, they're saying that 7M has ignored them. And Katie Joy, remember, she did a post about that, saying that 7M has just ignored them. They don't care about this case. They don't communicate with them. But here 7M is saying that they have multiple times. Saying that the counsel for both parties met and conferred regarding this issue. Okay, so everything that they've done is kind of outlined there. Conclusion of law. The court has authority to enforce its lawful orders through civil contempt. Okay. Plaintiffs met all procedural and substantive requirements for civil contempt. Defendants' continued failure to produce the required financial documents. So this is now this is not ordered. I have to say that again. This is just a proposed order. Defendants are hereby found in civil contempt for violating the court's discovery order dated January 29th of 2024. Defendants shall fully comply with the court order by producing all outstanding financial records, including tax records, no later than 10 days after filing of this order. Defendants shall fully comply with the court's order by producing full responses to plaintiff's requests for production documents, numbers 11 through 18, and number 23, and interrogatories 5, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, and 18. If defendants fail to meet the following, okay, so this is what they want: $50 a day and coercive fines until full compliance, and conditional confinement at the Wright County Jail until defendants produce all required documents. Plaintiffs are awarded their reasonable attorney's fees. Y'all, I don't know why I'm trying to, it's so small. I don't even know I'm doing this to myself, trying to read it that small. Where am I at? Plaintiffs are awarded their reasonable attorney's fees and costs for bringing this motion. Plaintiffs shall file an affidavit of fees within 10 days. Okay, so this is what they were wanting. Kind of funny, huh? Okay, so I was not looking at chat. So I'm just looking at chat. I'm just looking at chat, y'all, so I can catch up. It's all right for being late. Y'all, there's so many filings, but in all reality, it is kind of a big thing, but it's not a huge thing. So we have to remember that Katie Joy originally, back before the October 17th hearing, tried to file a motion for sanctions on 7M, saying that they didn't provide certain documents. Since then, and apparently it was in September, they provided that document. According to something I read earlier, but maybe it was November, they provided what they needed. But Katie Joy hasn't. And she's saying that Katie Joy is saying that she has to be able to see all of their social media posts okay, so now the next big thing. Remember how on the affidavits of Miranda Derrick and James Derrick, they said that they deleted their social media presence? And I said, I highly doubt that they deleted their accounts, that they probably deactivated them, that they're hidden or whatnot. Like nobody with that, especially in a lawsuit, but nobody with that big of a following is going to just delete their accounts, right? So there's this big argument about deleting evidence. And so that's what this new motion that Katie's trying to file is saying, that spoliation of evidence, that they deleted their accounts, and that this is, that this is grounds for sanctions. And so let's kind of look through those filings. I'm trying to think of the best way to show this. I know I'm just kind of all over the place because it's really hard to kind of go through all of this, because a lot of it is just a repeat. But if I go, you know what, we're going to look at Katie Joy's, Jennifer Moore's affidavit of attorney. That's what we're going to look at. And then I'm going to put it up on the screen. Share screen. So this is Katie Joy's affidavit of attorney. Or, I'm sorry, Jennifer Moore's affidavit of attorney, which is Katie Joy's attorney. Duh. Okay. So basically what so her exhibits are, so she's, authenticating the correspondence between her and Amber Stabig. Her exhibit A is her letter to Amber Stabig on November 14th. Exhibit B is Amber Stabig's response, which was on November 21st. Exhibit C is Amber Stabig's second letter that Amber Stabig wrote on the 21st. Exhibit D is that letter the email or letter, whatever it was that I was telling you about, that Jennifer Moore wrote to Amber Stabig, kind of reiterating what was said in their, their conference. And Exhibit E is Amber Stabig's response going, no, wait a minute, what? No, that's not what happened. That's not what was said. And then Exhibit F is a true and correct copy of a K1. Okay, so this is one, the only thing that was filed in this that was confidential is a K1 form where they're trying to show that Hannah Shin is a partner shareholder of 7M's. And she's saying that, this is her trying to say that Hannah Shin, they want to depose Hannah Shin. Okay, so let's look at the letters. Is this showing properly? Can y'all see the letter? I'm going to read it, but can y'all see it? Does she still do Drunken Lives? She hasn't. Hey, Captain KD. How are you doing? All right. So this first letter was dated November 14th, and this is from Jennifer Moore to Amber Stavig. And she's like, thank you for agreeing to meet and confer regarding the outstanding discovery disputes in this matter. I'm just going to go over this real quick. This letter confirms the issue for a meet and confer discussion and proposes a framework for resolution. Clark Swanson. Confidentiality designations, deposition transcripts. Okay. See, this is what they wanted to talk about. This is one of the things she's saying. Like, look, transcripts should be public. There's no reason that they should be confidential. She says, deposition testimony in civil litigation is presumptively public, and wholesale designation of entire transcripts is improper. But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think we'll just wait to see what the judge says on that. And then her proposed resolution for that is that, Amber Stavig de-designate that in its entirety, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's going to be, we can see all of their deposition. And I think it's because if anything's going to happen with the Netflix docuseries, they need that, right? They want that. And because that's the only thing I can think of. Can anybody else think of any other reason why they would want their depositions to be public? Okay, so she's saying, of course, we can, redact personal information such as phone numbers and all that. She's saying that they want the attorney's eyes only designation completely removed, and that her proposed resolution is that it just be removed. Documents such as tax returns and financial statements may remain designated as confidential, but accessible to Katie Joy, but subject to the protective orders prohibitions on further disclosure. But they should not be restricted from my client's review. How do y'all think? How do y'all feel about that? Social media archives. So here they're saying, now keep in mind, this is before this new motion was filed. They were trying to talk through all this, okay? They're saying that, in reference to deleted/deactivated accounts, in my July 26, 2024 correspondence and September 26, 2025 declaration, I identified serious discovery deficiencies related to social media accounts, specifically. So Miranda Derrick's Instagram and TikTok archives. Your clients admitted in sworn affidavits that they deleted their entire social media presence. And this was years into litigation after receiving targeted discovery requests. I mean, look, there's a reason why they deleted it. There's a reason why they deleted it. It's because of Katie Joy. The next thing, another account they want is Wilking Sisters Instagram. Let me make sure I did. Yeah. Wilking Sisters Instagram. Do y'all remember the Wilking Sisters 2? On Instagram, there was an account, Wilking Sisters 2, that they never denied being a part of. And there was also Without a Crystal Ball or Clue. And so what Katie Joy is saying here is that they deleted these accounts. And so that's spoliation of evidence. But I was talking to somebody who knows, who followed this very closely, these situations, Miranda, Derek, and James and all that, and their Instagrams, accounts and stuff, she says that both of these accounts were deleted before the lawsuit. Okay, good. You can see it. So and she keeps, and you'll see that she keeps saying, look, I keep asking you about these accounts, and you just, apparently Amber Savick just never responds. She hasn't addressed it. She hasn't responded because it's not part of, it's really not part of discovery. So, and not only that, isn't KJ the queen of deletion? Exactly. So, they're saying, that this is spoliation of evidence. Archived content from deleted accounts. Your clients deleted their TikTok and Instagram accounts entirely. Now, keep in mind, again, this was when they were talking through it. And later on, 7M is like, no, we didn't delete them. We deactivated them. So there's a big issue between the term deleted, because that's what they use in their affidavit, versus deactivated. But apparently 7M states that they've put it on the record that they have been deactivated, not deleted. So their proposed resolution for this is that all post stories, videos, and images. Let me see. Minnesota. So they're saying that Katie Joy should be allowed to download complete archives of the accounts in searchable format. So that's all the post stories, videos, and images, comments and interactions, direct messages. So now they want all DMs that anybody, that Miranda or James had. Y'all. And their proposed resolution is to produce the complete Instagram, TikTok. Okay, so she goes through all that, those accounts, saying that you need to provide that. So then she gives what their meet and confer discussions, really should be. And she says, I propose we schedule a telephone conference within the next 7 to 10 days to discuss these issues. If we can reach agreement on these issues, I am prepared to withdraw or hold these pending motions addressing confidentiality designations and spoliation. However, if we cannot reach resolution, I will need to proceed with those motions. Please let me know your available dates. Okay, so here is Amber's response on the 21st of November. Ms. Moore, we have reviewed the issues outlined in November 14th, 2025 letter. And are prepared to discuss them in detail during our scheduled meeting. Let's see. She says, so the confidentiality designations, again, okay, this was an issue, and it still is an issue, because after all this correspondence, Katie Joy still filed a motion for these confidentiality designations to be changed. Plaintiffs reject. So basically, 7M says, screw you. We reject your demand to de-designate the deposition transcripts of Robert Shin, Miranda Derrick, and James Derrick in their entirety. You have provided no basis for removing their use as confidential, nor have you given a reason as to why these remain confidential, as you have provided no legal basis for this. So again, why do they want to have their deposition transcripts to be public? So as far as your attorney's eyes only, for you saying, yeah, let's, we want to remove that. The attorney's eyes only designations were made in good faith, consistent with the protective order, and are reserved for documents containing highly sensitive business, financial, and proprietary information, the disclosure of which could cause significant competitive, commercial, and reputational harm. Plaintiffs therefore categorically reject the assertion that our highly confidential attorney's eyes only designations are improper. The documents you reference, including tax returns, internal financials, and non-public business records, fall squarely within the type of quote unquote especially sensitive material. They then go on to say, disclosure of this information to Ms. Paulson personally presents a genuine risk of harm, particularly in light of her demonstrated history of publicly disseminating plaintiff's private information and plaintiff's current motion for a temporary injunction, which is under review by the court. Your request to remove all attorney's eyes only designation is unsupported by law and inconsistent with both the protective order and highly sensitive nature of the material. We will not agree to blanket reclassification, but if you believe specific documents were misdesignated, please identify them. Social media accounts. So you'll notice here that she does not even address, she does not even touch the issue of those other two social media accounts. Plaintiffs categorically reject your accusations regarding supposed spoliation and non-disclosure of social media accounts. The voluntary deactivation of personal social media accounts in August 2025 was not undertaken to destroy evidence. It was a response to ongoing harassment, threats, and misuse of plaintiffs' online presence. These accounts were deactivated, not deleted. Plaintiffs have full access to their deactivated content. Plaintiffs have already confirmed that relevant content was preserved prior to deactivation, and your effort to reframe this as quote-unquote wholesome destruction is both inaccurate and unsupported. Any suggestion that plaintiffs intentionally destroyed evidence is baseless. Plaintiffs continue to meet their discovery obligations and will review your request in the ordinary course. We will not, however, accept unfounded allegations of misconduct as a basis for demanding expansive production of social media archives that extend far beyond the scope of relevance or proportionality. If you can identify specific content that you believe exists and is relevant to and responsive, we are willing to evaluate. Okay, so meet and confer. She says, we remain committed to protecting plaintiffs' private information while ensuring that discovery proceeds in a manner that is, of good faith, whatnot. Plaintiffs are willing to confer in good faith. And then she gives dates that she's available. Okay. Then she also, on that same day, sends this letter regarding demand for outstanding and undisclosed discovery. So this is a good one, y'all. Hey, Cheryl, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hey, teacup girl. You know what? With Netflix, I really wonder if there is a two, and again, if there's a part two, again, that is just my speculation. There's no evidence of that. I don't know. But I truly believe that they're looking for a part two. And you know what's so screwed up about all this, y'all, is they truly just think that Miranda's just going to run home to her mommy and daddy and everything's going to be good. Like, how is that even a plausible situation after what they've done to her? Right? So this is where 7M is like, okay, and by the way, dear Ms. Moore, pursuant to the court's prior order on discovery, in accordance with the Minnesota Rules of Civil Procedure, we hereby formally demand the immediate production of all discovery materials that your client, Katie Joy, I love how she's referring to her as Katie Joy, has represented to be in her possession, custody, and control. So again, by Katie Joy going live, making a video saying, that she has this new evidence that, that proves X, Y, and Z. She screwed herself on that, y'all, I think. And they're addressing that here. We are particularly concerned by your client's ongoing public representations suggesting the existence of relevant, undisclosed materials. On June 24th, 2025, Katie Joy posted a video on YouTube stating that she has, quote unquote, dozens of clips of plaintiffs, which she described as evidence that she will be able to use if we go to trial. To date, no such materials have been produced or identified in her discovery responses, nor have they been disclosed in any privilege log. If such materials exist, they are plainly responsive and must be produced without further delay. It has also come to our attention that Katie Joy has appeared on News Nation and made public statements concerning plaintiffs. We hereby demand the immediate production of all correspondence, communications, and documents involving third parties, including but not limited to News Nation, other media outlets, platforms, or journalists that relate in any way to plaintiffs. This demand encompasses all emails, direct messages, text messages, interview requests, right? So, like her interview requests and her arrangements for News Nation, draft statements, and other communications. And they're entitled to this. So, Katie Joy opened up a whole new can of worms. That's why, I say that at first I was 50-50 with this, and Katie Joy had a very strong chance of winning this lawsuit. She has screwed herself so bad. And so then they say, additionally, please provide the following outstanding discovery required by the courts. And this is what we were talking about earlier. Certain interrogatories that she has not provided. And number 12 being one of them. And as you can see here, it's state the name, address, contact number of each and every person who provided information and to whom Katie Joy shared information with regarding Melanie, Kelly, and Dean Wilking. Is she going to throw the Wilkings under the bus? This is going to be bad for the Wilkings, I think, y'all. It seems to be one they're focusing on. That's what I was saying earlier. The request number 17 is to produce any and all tax documents for Katie. And so remember, this is what, November 21st that she wrote this. Request number 18, produce any and all tax documents for Without a Crystal Ball. And so these requests, number 17 and 18, those are from the original way back discovery requests that Katie still has not provided. So this is short and sweet. Please produce the above reference materials no later than 10 days. Obviously, that didn't happen. The date of this letter. If you believe any responsive material is privileged or otherwise protected from disclosure, please provide a privilege log compliant with Rule 2602 of the Minnesota Rule of Civil Procedure. Should your client continue to withhold responsive documents, particularly those she has publicly acknowledged possessing, see, that's the thing. She publicly acknowledged certain things. Now she is responsible for providing them. We will immediately seek relief from the court. Hey, Brittany. I can speak for myself. I'm having a good day. I hope you're having a good day. All right. So then the next thing that happens is Jennifer Moore responds to, they had their meet and confer on December 5th. Whatever time they agreed to, however it happened, whatnot, it happened on December 5th. And this is Katie Joy's attorney saying this letter confirms our meet and confer discussion held on December 5th regarding outstanding discovery disputes. And then she says, agreed. I guess she's saying, so targeted search terms. So, okay, I'm going to breeze through this quickly because then we're going to look at what 7M said, and it's way more fun. Trust me, it's way more entertaining. She says that they agreed on targeted search terms for social media archives. And she attached Exhibit A as targeted search terms for 7M to run against the social media archives they claim to have, quote unquote, full access to. Please produce all responsive content with complete metadata. So what their data within 14 days. So what they're saying is, you're saying that you still have these accounts. I want you to run these use these terms in a search to prove that you still have whatever. Again, this is all for Katie Joy's benefit, I think. It's completely ulterior. It's not for the sake of this law. I mean, sure, it's for the sake of this lawsuit, but we know it goes beyond that. And then she says, News Nation information. I will inquire with my client regarding communications related to her News Nation appearances and provide you with information about those communications within 14 days. Clarifications required. Deleted versus deactivated social media accounts. Miranda Derrick's amended affidavit. She says that, again, it did state, this is what it stated in their affidavits that were dated October 8th, both James and Miranda's. I deleted my social media presence as a result of backlash from defendants' increased aggression this year. So deleted my social media presence. Could that be semantics? Like, deleted her presence. It's not saying deleted her account. And Katie Joy took it as deleted their accounts, and she went wild with it, y'all. And listen, she needed them to say that to stick to her narrative that Robert Shin makes them do everything, that they are under Robert Shin's complete control, that Robert Shin is the one that made them delete their accounts, right? And so she's reiterating what they stated in those affidavits. And she says, now your November 21st letter claims that they were deactivated, not deleted, and that plaintiffs have full access to their deactivated content. And 7M stands by that. And they're saying, please clarify within 7 days whether your clients deleted or deactivated their social media accounts, if you're withdrawing or correcting the sworn affidavits to say that their accounts were deactivated, not deleted. The exact nature and format of archives that exist, whether plaintiffs can run searches against those archives and produce results. Katie Joy will toss anyone anywhere if it means saving her own ass. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Captain. I mean, okay. Status still outstanding for 22 months. The court's January 29th, 2024 order required production of requested production 6. And so here they're saying, look, you still owe us documents sufficient to show any compensation paid to you, including monetary, in kind, or other, from their social media activity. Documents sufficient to show any compensation paid. Documents sufficient to show any compensation or wages paid to its dancers and employees by 7M, reflecting any withholdings taken from the compensation. While I appreciate that 7M Films' complex tax returns and financial statements were produced in September 20, so it was September. So while I appreciate 7M's complete tax returns, y'all, and financial statements were produced in September 2025, 19 months after the court order, why are you going to put in parentheses, 19 months, how dare you, 19 months after the court order, when Katie Joy has not provided any of her financial records? She has not provided tax records for her personal tax records or for her business records. The monetization records from Miranda and James Derrick remain outstanding, including Instagram earnings, monetization paid, TikTok earnings and that monetization paid, brand partnership agreements and payments, documentation showing how social media income flows, any withholdings, management fees, or splits. Now, if I remember correctly, and I think this is what Amber's about to address, that wasn't requested directly in discovery. It was very vague. And so we'll see what Amber has to say about that. Go to jail, KJ. Hey, Snoozy Susie. Yeah. Mama T's over here deleting comments, y'all. She dropped her laptop and deleted it. And Snoozy says it's okay. She drops stuff constantly. I'm just sitting here balancing this laptop on this thing. I'm just waiting for it to fall and then for my camera to slip. And you guys see how I really look today as I'm sitting in my bed. And then it says, please provide within 14 days. And then undisclosed social media accounts. Again, they bring up the Wilking Sister 2 and the Without a Crystal Ball or Clue. Do any of y'all, it's okay, Mama T. Wilking Sister 2, do y'all remember those accounts? Somebody that I talked to, they said they might have some, and I'm sure, and maybe Balls does too. And I probably even have some if I go way back and look. But my friend said she might have screenshots of those accounts, but she swears that they were deleted before the lawsuit even happened. And then they did, they're saying to confirm within 14 days who owns, controls, or has access to these accounts, whether these accounts were deleted and when, what archives exist for these accounts, produce all content from these accounts. Okay. Confidentiality designations. Again, attorney's eyes only. They're going to go back and forth about that. Okay, well, here I got to let me see. I want to read this. Financial documents such as tax returns may constitute private financial information, but paragraph 2 does not authorize excluding parties from accessing their opponent's financial discovery in a defamation case where damages are at issue. The attorney's eyes only designation cannot be distributed to clients. Did that say distributed to? Yeah. Clients, the parties, or other individuals, including my client who needs access to this evidence to defend herself. You must provide good cause for attorney eyes only designation. How about the good cause is that the first judge, the original judge, agreed and made a restraining order on discovery? Katie Joy probably can't pick her kid out of a lineup of kids. I don't normally talk about her kids, and I usually don't read her kid, and I don't normally read comments, but I'm sorry, that's funny as hell. Comment of the day. And then when it comes to deposition transcripts, again, the argument that they should not be deemed confidential, they should be made public. Attorney's eyes only designation. I think defendant's tax returns. So you stated you intend to file a motion for contempt regarding defendant's tax returns under request 1718. As I stated on our call, you are welcome to file that motion. However, I will oppose any request for attorney's fees given that plaintiff's production of court-ordered social media monetization records is 22 months overdue. Again, apparently that wasn't ever stated as media monetization records until just now. Okay. Because she's realizing, wait a minute, that's how they make income. My dog's snoring, y'all. You hear him? You having puppy dreams, buddy? It's okay, buddy. Plaintiffs took 19 months to produce their own tax records, and you still don't produce yours. I will seek attorney's fees when the court orders production of the still outstanding monetization records. So basically tit for tat here, right? Well, you haven't provided this, so I'm not providing that. I will not produce defendant's tax record. I'm sorry, let me start over. I will not produce defendant's tax returns while plaintiffs remain in violation of the same court order by failing to produce social media monetization records. If you're able to provide social media monetization records, I will revisit the issue of tax returns with my client. Reopening discovery. So she's saying that I will read this part. It is my belief that it is my belief that the July 25th, 2025 federal raid on Mr. Shin's properties, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service forfeiture proceedings, and the extremely late production of financial records warrant reopening discovery for the purpose of obtaining non-privileged relevant information about the criminal investigation in your client's possession, as well as to permit me to depose Hannah Shin and Shirley Kim. I may also seek to resume Mr. Shin's deposition to secure testimony about the criminal investigation and financial records. All right, so you're correct that the court likely does not want to address this issue at this late date. Given Mr. Shin's efforts to avoid testimonial jeopardy in California, the prejudice from limited reopening appears minimal. There's a reason why the case in LA was granted a stay, because his testimony could jeopardize, this situation, this federal investigation. I understand that you believe Ms. Kim and Ms. Shin are not your clients. However, believe that both of them are affiliated and employed by 7M insofar as their name appears throughout the financial records produced in September. I will ask the court for clarification, and if the court decides you are not obligated to make them available, I will subpoena them as third parties. Very truly yours, Jennifer Moore. All right. I didn't read this. This is not a bar to defendants since you were on notice that discovery was missing and you provided it after both the non-dispositive and dispositive motions had passed. Moreover, I brought a motion for sanctions in my summary judgment package and was given permission by the court to seek another motion for sanctions. Okay, I need to address this before. Oh, okay. I'm going to say this real quick. This could be an issue for 7M. I don't know. I don't know the law well enough to state this. Okay. There was an order that had a deadline for all dispositive motions and all non-dispositive motions. Dispositive motions are motions that would indicate, such as this summary judgment. Non-dispositive motions are all the other motions, right? Basically, when Katie Joy's attorney, and I hate to give her the props on this, y'all, filed within the summary judgment, she filed a motion seeking sanctions, right? And she did it within the deadline. That being a non-dispositive motion, within that deadline to file that type of motion. What Katie Joy's attorney is saying here is, we filed ours on time. You have passed that deadline. So any motions you file now, any non-dispositive motions, aka you're saying you're going to file, and they did. Keep in mind, these letters are prior to these filings that appeared yesterday. She's saying basically, if you file a motion for sanctions, it's past the deadline and it won't fly. And I don't think 7M would file something if they felt it was not going, if the judge is just going to deny it. I don't know. But again, my knowledge of the law there is, I'm not even going to pretend to say anything. I'm not even going to pretend anything. We have to keep in mind all the things that are under review right now. The summary judgment, Katie Joy's motion to reconsider summary judgment, that's under review. The motion for temporary injunction where 7M is saying, look, Katie Joy needs to shut up, and here's all the reasons why with all this evidence. Not only that, she's basically calling the judge a dumbass. Here's all that information. That's under review. Then when 7M filed this motion saying, you haven't provided certain documents, we're going to file sanctions, and we want to change, the testimony to be the deposition testimony to be made public, and we want all attorneys' eyes only removed so Katie Joy can see anything and everything. Y'all, can you imagine what Katie Joy would do if she had information to all of Robert Shin's tax records? So this is Exhibit A. So basically what they do is they demand 7M to go into their archives and put in all of these search words. Okay, and y'all can just read them as I go through. Well, I don't know if y'all can read them. Everything related to Katie Joy or Without a Crystal Ball, KJ. Anything related to plaintiffs. Related individuals, Hannah Shin, Shirley Kim, Daniel Joseph, Priscilla or Priscilla Lee. I find that interesting because they're asking for them to do search to prove something about Priscilla Lee, but not Melanie Lee. I can't believe the judge doesn't say it's been 4 years. It's enough. You're going to trial. I mean, I'm sure they want to, but they can't. They have to go through all of this. And I think that is what's going to happen. If you want to know the truth, I believe that's what's going to happen. I do not see this judge changing the ruling for social on this summary judgment. But yeah, I mean, enough's enough already. They also want them to put in the term cult trafficking or sex trafficking, labor trafficking, all these words I'm not supposed to be saying right now on these YouTube streams. All of these ABUSE, all these words, they want them to go in and put all this stuff in. Brand partnerships. Okay, all this stuff, right? She's demanding that they do that. All right. And this date range, she wants all la. Now let's listen to what okay, whatever. We're just done with that. But let's see what Amber Stavig had to say. Y'all, it's hilarious. Okay, this is very hard to read. I forgot this one looks like this. So give me a second. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go pull that one up separately because that was very hard to read. Oh, they're absolutely enjoying KJ wasting money. Think about how expensive this alone has been. All these motions that have been filed, this conference that her attorney had with 7M. It's a lot of money, y'all. Okay, let me go back over here. I got to sign back in. Bear with me because this is good. And then we'll probably end it here. And then I'll go live again Monday and touch base on some of the things that I might have left out or whatever. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this back up. Might take me just a second to find it. I can't remember which one it is. How many pages was it? Hold on. Let me look real quick. I can tell. 3 pages. There's so many filings. It looks like so much, but in all reality, let me see if this is it. In all reality, it's a lot of repeating stuff. Let me see if this is it. Hopefully I got it on the first shot because they're not labeled. No, that's not it. They're not labeled. So it's hard for me to go in and find exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, affidavit of attorney. That was hers. It's not that motion. I think it's this right here. Her letter's hilarious. Yep, here it is. Okay, let me come back so I can share the screen. Okay, y'all, this is hilarious. Sorry. But again, I don't really know where this is going to go, but this is just something else that is now in the court's hands. This judge has so much shit to review, y'all. Okay. Amber Savick says, good afternoon. I'm in receipt of your letter and have several objections to your characterization of our conversation this morning. I did not agree to send you any targeted search terms for my client's social media accounts. I asked you to provide the discovery response, which authorizes your request. This Exhibit A appears to be an attempt to request additional documents which were not asked for during discovery. Please provide the discovery request relevant to your request for these search terms, and I am happy to provide relevant, probable information regarding the same. As to the News Nation issue, your client is compelled by the court's January 29th, 2024 order to respond to our interrogatory 12, which state the name, address, and contact number of each and every person to whom defendant shared information with regarding 7M Films, blah, 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 blah. And basically, any possible way that she could have obtained that information. You have failed to provide this information in its entirety. News Nation is just one institution Katie has shared information with. She was the archival consultant on a Netflix documentary, and no information about who she spoke with was given for that either. We will be filing a motion for contempt for your complete failure to comply with the court's order. As to your request regarding deactivation, I have already clarified that their accounts were deactivated, not deleted, and they still have access to them. I also made this correction on the record, so no further clarification is necessary for the motions that are currently in front of the court. Yeah, there's in these filings, KJ cost him $39 million in lost contracts, and that's what Goose just said. I'd pin it, but I can't pin it right now. But again, here's the thing: they're also saying they have no way of knowing, right? Because there's a lot of things that that come into play, and then 7M keeps referring to the original 14 million. So it is stated in some of these filings it's around 39 million, but Katie Joy's attorney only keeps referring to the 14 million. She gonna be bankrupt. She's so mad she can't access her stuff. As discussed during our conversation, you did not request social media monetization records in discovery. Your requests for production are vague and only state documents sufficient to show compensation. We complied with documents sufficient to show compensation. Your vague request does not equate to a request for social media monetization requests. During our conversation, you also stated that during their depositions, my clients, James and Miranda, were not aware of these monetization reports. I have not checked the transcript to confirm this, but your characterization of this request is wholly inaccurate. Though these specific monetization records are not required due to the vague nature of your request, we will comply and send them to you all the same. The 7M is showing that they are working in good faith here. With respect to brand partnership and agreements and payments, we have complied with this request. So they're saying we've already given you this information. Please indicate any information you believe is still outstanding. Your request for documentation showing how social media income flows is not directly related to the discovery requests. Please provide a relevant discovery request and clarify your question. As to your request for withholdings, management fees, or splits, this information has been provided. Please provide the discovery request relevant to your request of the Instagram accounts identified in your letter. See, they weren't requested in discovery, those accounts, those Instagram accounts. And there's no way she's going to give this information up unless, unless the judge is like, yeah, this is considered within their discovery. You need to provide it. The judge going to be pissed. Okay, so the court's protective order states that the party seeking a designation change must do so within 30 days of the designation. So when that protective order was put in place, 7M is saying that Katie Joy had 30 days to seek a designation change. Paragraph 7 further does not require that I designate that the attorney's eyes only documents fall within the scope of protection. Therefore, your request for redesignation is untimely and cannot be granted by the court. As to your threats regarding our motion to compel discovery, as stated above, your failure to engage in tactful discovery does not create a discovery failure. You failed to request specific documents in your initial filings and are attempting to request new discovery to cover up your own failure to request documents within the discovery timeline. Further, we are sending the information requested in a timely manner relative to the date of your request. All tax returns were produced to you prior to today's meet and confer. Any allegations of untimeliness are moot and do not allow you to violate the court order. Thank you for your statement that you intend to continue to violate the court's order. I will be sure to include that in our contempt filings. Y'all. As stated in our conference, you were aware of Ms. Kim and Ms. Shin's involvement with my clients during discovery. You sent requests for their depositions to me, and I informed you that I was unable to force people who are not my clients to attend a deposition. So far as I am aware, you never set up depositions of either of them. So they're wanting Hannah Shin and Shirley Kim to be deposed. They want all the information that they have, and it has to do with this raid, right? Because basically, well, here, let's just put it this way. Further, and this is what Amber Stavik says. Further, the federal raid done on my client's properties was entirely due to your own client's behavior. It is in no way proof that she was telling the truth, but in fact, further damages to my client due to her complete disregard for the truth. Miss Kim and Miss Shin are not my clients. I cannot compel individuals who are not my clients to do anything. That's Amber's response, and I think that that's her response to that. So let's see. KJ needs to stop. That is true. So if you guys have any questions, I'm trying to think of some things that I went through. I know I did not go through the motions very closely. I'm going to find a way to do that better. But basically, everything that we just saw in these letters is in those motions. Okay. So we would just be sitting here for a couple more hours. And I don't think anybody wants to do that. Going through these motions. Basically, everything that was just stated is in these motions. And I'll put back up on the screen 7M's motion. Let me find it real quick. Here, I believe this is it. Let me see. Yeah. Let me share screen. StreamYard is such a pain in the ass. I like Amber too. She has an associate attorney too, and I don't know if y'all heard me. I think I said this in my last live. I started to notice kind of how some of the motions were written a little bit differently. And I was like, man, that seems different than what Amber Stavig would normally, how she would normally write. And then we noticed that there was an associate attorney signed at the bottom. I think her name's Jacqueline. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Here is Plaintiff's Memorandum of Law in support of motion for contempt. So, I'm just going to go through this real quick. I'm just going to kind of read it on my own and see if there's anything that I'm kind of missing. Oh, there is something. And this isn't in 7M's. And Katie Joy's, her attorney is arguing. Get this shit, y'all. Katie Joy's. Oh, thank you. I'm referring to this. Someone says they love the picture that I have up. I'm sitting here talking about how StreamYard sucks just a second ago, but StreamYard has this new AI feature, and you can create backgrounds. It's kind of cool. Seems like the raid was inspired by KJ. I believe so, especially, okay, look, and then we'll talk about that, and then we'll probably be done. But one of the arguments that Katie Joy's attorney is actually arguing, y'all get this shit. She is saying that Katie Joy should have access to all of their social media accounts that have been deactivated, because Katie Joy is the expert in everything social media and how social media works, and that she is not, and that she doesn't understand social media. And so therefore, Katie Joy should have access to it all. Can you believe that shit? Can you believe? I mean, hire a professional, right? Amber is very skilled at what she does. Yeah, she is. She knows the law very, very closely. I have to give I can't believe I'm saying this, but I got to stay fair in this too, y'all. I got to give props to Jennifer Moore in some of this, believe it or not. That's all I'm going to say. It's the only time I'm going to say it, and that's all I'm going to say. If the feds raided her info and it all blows up, she's in bigger trouble than we can imagine. I stand by that. So Katie is refusing to provide her tax documents for her personal tax documents and without a crystal ball's tax documents. And she is refusing to give up sources. Now, because she went on News Nation and because she did a video that she has up on YouTube where she says that she has evidence that will help her in trial or will help her if or when, she says, Robert Shin gets arrested, it will, um, she could testify. So 7M is like, what is this evidence? You can't hide evidence. What evidence? Who are these sources? You know that you're supposed to provide all sources that you talk to. So where's your information about Netflix? I have a feeling they're going to get it. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that I have a fabulous mod in chat. Is something happening in chat that I'm missing? I've even looked at chat, y'all, barely. Mama T, I know, is still here. She's an incredible mod. All my mods are great mods. I just don't know who all is in here. But I question whether or not that will happen. 7M didn't seem to fight for correspondence between Katie Joy and the Netflix people, but looks like they're asking now. And they're saying, look, also, what about the information with News Nation? It is just it's crazy. So Katie Joy. So then I showed y'all the proposed order, what 7M wants. They're saying that if Katie Joy does not comply to this, now that would be if an order came out that Katie is ordered or Katie is found in contempt. Okay. So let's say Katie is found in contempt, then 7M says that, and if she doesn't comply, that she must pay $50 a day until she does, and or spend time in the Wright County Jail. Can you imagine Katie Joy behind bars? Can you imagine seeing Katie in jail? She would not survive. No way in hell. And basically they're saying that Katie's noncompliance is deliberate and willful, and that she knew of all of this, and that she is not doing it. And I'm telling you, it is deliberate and willful because she thinks that Robert Shin is going to go to prison. And that's what I was going to say. Jail, please. Right, Mama T? Well, Unitopia, she can use a kid excuse all she wants because there are two parents in that home. And it's very clear that the father is very involved in his life. So good luck with that one, Katie Joy. Jails are full of moms. Right, you'll fit right in. No, she'd get her ass whooped. Do you remember Michelle Sabatay? Anybody in here with y'all? Whenever Michelle Sabatay went into the rehab, like she went into, what was that one that she went into? Anyways, she went in, she got her ass whooped. That would be Katie Joy. She'd get her ass beat. She is so convinced that Robert Shin is going to be arrested. And what 7M is saying is, look, the only reason why there was a raid is because of your client. And she instigated it. Now, I have to say, though, FBI is not just going to do a raid if they don't have, reason to do so. The the United States Postal Service, they're not going to go do a raid if there's not reason to do so. They are the ones that confiscated the $105,000. They seized that $105,000 cash that was found on his property that he is fighting to get back. How criminal defamation works in Minnesota, I don't know. Look, I'll tell you this. I've always thought, I think that they are trying to find ways to get her criminally in Minnesota outside of this civil situation. You remember Michelle very well. We all do. But she got her ass beat when she was in that dual diagnosis center. God, I couldn't think of the name of that for the life of me. Put her on her ass quick. And then so Michelle went to the hospital, didn't she? But I mean, that would be, I say that because that would be a Katie Joy move. I don't think she'll be put in jail, y'all. You never know. Not for this, at least. I never say never. I'm not saying that I don't think Katie Joy might not ever face something that's criminal. I think that's possible. It froze. Can y'all hear me? My laptop just froze. I wish you were a lawyer, not a vet tech about now. Oh, shit. Am I? Y'all should be able to hear me now. I wish I was a vet tech. Because I have these 4 animals that I got sitting next to me. I wouldn't have to spend so much money on them monthly, right? If I knew exactly what to do. Isn't that right, Barnaby Duke? As a vet tech, do you have a Cavadoodle? Have you treated a Cavadoodle, a King Cavalier Poodle mix? He's the cutest thing. We don't have horses, personally. So she's betting on that. But here's my thing. When he was raided, July 25th, 2025, he was not arrested. Nobody was arrested. The main thing that Katie Joy is accusing him of, and still doing it, and I wish I had this, and when I go live on Monday, I plan on going live Monday or Tuesday. When I go live next, I will put up some comments that she's left on a subreddit that I have not showed y'all on here yet. Some of y'all might have seen them, but if not, where she is still accusing him of sex trafficking, that he is an sex trafficker. Like, that is, she just keeps saying it, right? Still to this day. So if he was guilty of that, he would have been arrested that day. And I believe that that's part of the reason, obviously, that he was raided. And Katie Joy keeps saying that he was raided for that and that he's being investigated for that. Well, if you keep saying it and you got people saying it. So we're going on December 25th, obviously, Christmas Day for those that do celebrate Christmas. He was raided in July. So what is that, 5 months? I know these things take time. I'm not saying that, he's not guilty of something. If he is, I don't think it's anything like that. I know that the Wilkings disagree. And in some weird way, I think the Wilkings want it to be that way so they can be right. Does anybody else feel that way? Jennifer P. How you doing? Hope everything's good. Y'all, today, you know how I complained last time? I was like, it's so cold because it was in the 40s and I thought I was going to die. Today is gorgeous. The last 2 days have been gorgeous. And then, right before I go live, I get notice of a freeze alert or a freeze warning. Like, what? It's been sunny and 70. It's been gorgeous. And I know there are people, someone told me yesterday they got, 9 inches of snow. Jennifer P., don't ever apologize for being late to a YouTube live stream. Life is way more important than Katie. Well, I mean, this is interesting. Don't get me wrong, right? This is interesting, but I don't know how much you got out of this, Jennifer P., but I'll do a recap. So if there is anybody in here that didn't get it, I'll do a quick recap and then we'll be done for the day. The weather is psychotic, Unitopia, especially in Texas. The recap is this. 7M, right before, okay, so the last thing we knew of was the hearing on October 17th, which was Katie Joy's motion to reconsider. And 7M had also filed a motion for injunctive relief, or I'm sorry, a temporary injunction. Those were both heard on October 17th. Katie Joy had also filed just before that, she filed a motion for sanctions and to have the attorney's eyes only stipulation removed. And so that was not heard at the hearing. So one of the reasons why they scheduled a December 31st hearing is so that could be heard. Right? And now 7M just amended that because they're saying that they're saying, Jesus, Katie Joy amended it because they're saying that 7M has provided all the financial documents since then. So the December 31st hearing is going to be for that. Now, 7M just filed a motion for sanctions, saying that Katie Joy is in contempt of court because she refuses to provide her personal tax records and her business tax records. And she's also refusing to give up certain sources. So that motion was filed. Katie Joy amended their motion, and that's filed, and that should be also all that should be heard on December 31st. What's still under review is 7M's. I mean, the judge, Katie Joy's motion to reconsider, and 7M's motion for temporary injunction. Those are under review. So, is Katie Joy going to be held in contempt? I don't know. You're in Toronto? I'm sure it is. What is the temperature there? I guarantee you it's something I would never, ever, ever be able to handle. I'm such a wimp. She'd be going through booze and Addy withdrawals. I don't know. I've never been one to really say anything about her addictions because I don't know, but I can say she drinks because we've seen her drunk enough. And I think she drinks a lot. So she's banking on him to get arrested. And my thought is because 7M, I'm sorry, that Netflix is wanting to do another docuseries on 7M. And Robert Shin needs to be arrested for that. 5 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to be a really stupid question, but do you go outside in that? Do y'all drive in that? There's a true Texan speaking here. My family's from up north. Close to the Canada border, actually. Well, they were in Port Huron, Michigan. But you go out in that, like you drive around in that shit? You do? Y'all. She'd be jonesing like it's very clear. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. Just by watching Katie Joy, I think she's an alcoholic. You hate the snow, Unitopia? So I'm from Texas. I've been here my entire life. And my entire childhood through my 20s, I can remember it snowing 2 times. Let's just say 3 in case I forgot one. In the last so many years, let's say within the last 15 years, it has snowed 3 times here. And it usually melts before it hits the ground. You have a down-filled coat. See, we don't even have, we don't even buy, I don't even have the gear that I would even need when it gets cold. I just stay inside whenever it gets cold. My husband, we have Carhartts. That's about it. They keep us warm in 40 degrees. We might get, like I said, we got a freeze warning. Let me look and see what the forecast is real quick before I end it with y'all. Here in Texas, let's see. My husband said it's not tonight, that it's tomorrow. And so the freeze warning I got was I think for Monday morning. But let me look at daily. Are you okay, buddy? Yeah, my dog. Pardon him. What you choking on? Come here. You all right? You need to tell everybody hi? It is, somebody became a new member. Let me see. Snoozy Susie, thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate you so much. I promise I'm going to be going live more. That is not for you. Do not bark because you're going to get everybody going. Stop it. This might be my cue to end it. My dogs are all about to start barking. Once one starts, this little turd, he starts it every time. My other dog, my one before him, my little guy that I miss so much. Y'all had him for 13 years. He was so smart. He would do that. He would manipulate. Whenever he wanted something that another dog had, he would start barking. He would go to the door and he would start barking because he knew the others would jump up from whatever they were doing, go to the door. And then he would run over and take whatever it was they had that he wanted. You thought it was your husband snoring. My dog was like, But I don't see anything. Okay, Sunday it looks like the low is 31, the high is 53. And then Monday, get this. Wednesday, we're back up in the 70s. Y'all, I'm telling you, you love to hear dogs. So I'll go live again. Thank you for becoming a member. All right, I thought I put that up on the, I didn't put you up on the screen, Susie. I thought I'd put you up on the, hold on. Let me see. There it is. There you are in all your glory. My new member. So I will be going live more. There are some things I wanted to talk about with Katie, and then this came up. I was working on that video yesterday regarding Feisty, and it's hilarious. I know it, y'all. Y'all are not interested in Feisty or the lawsuit she has going on in Ohio. It is hilarious. It's not hilarious for my channel and all the hard work I put into it. Any of y'all that have not viewed that, if you will just go give it a view. You don't have to listen necessarily. Just go give them a view, okay? Because I'm getting a complex over here. But I put one out yesterday. That one's actually decent to watch. It kind of, that one you might enjoy, but the long ones you might not. But it's very clear that the people that follow me are not interested in that. But I will continue following that lawsuit because there are people, there's a small group of them, but they are interested in it. So, there's that. But if you have time, with all your free time that you guys have, you'll just go give it a view and help my channel out. The one from yesterday. The dog doesn't like KJ either. Oh, you know what? I think I was on Instagram. I don't go on Instagram much, but I think I was on there yesterday. And Balls put up that picture again where her dog had a frozen poop in its mouth. And Katie thought it was funny and called it a poopsicle. And then the next picture is the dog licking Katie Joy right in the mouth. I don't think the animals like her. Have you ever seen her try to handle her cat? It looked like he was in the shower. You trying to put him in a paper bag. Wet and in a paper bag. That cat cannot get out of her arms fast enough. Jennifer P., thank you. You must have watched it. It is ridiculous. And look, I don't have a dog in that fight. I did not know Feisty really. I knew of her, and I did not know Crash Out Kaylee. And so I was listening to the screaming and yelling and rant. It's just ridiculous how much Feisty yells. In my opinion, okay, it's my opinion. I got chewed out for saying that she reminds me of an old menopausal angry woman. Okay. She's 46 years old, whatever. I got chewed out for that. I'm older than her. I have that right to say that. My favorite video is you got the lawsuit from the cult. Oh my gosh, I know. That is hilarious. Oh, that's another thing I was going to go over. She was talking shit on Emily D. Baker again. Remember earlier I was saying, some of you might have been in here, some might not have been, but earlier I was saying that she's been making comments all throughout Reddit, in that subreddit having to do with whatever the Blake Lively thing is. I'm so bored by that, y'all. I do not do well with that. Thank you, Annie. Loves stamping. See? Just because she's 46 doesn't mean she doesn't sound menopausal and angry. All she does is scream and yell. And so Katie Joy has been really active in the comments over there. And she was talking mad smack on Emily D. Baker. And she says that Emily D. Baker built her channel because of Katie Joy, that she built her channel on Katie Joy. Are you mad, Katie Joy? Because last time I checked, and it was a long time ago, I haven't really paid attention to the numbers because I always watch her stuff late. But like when Emily D. Baker was doing a live stream of something, she had like 25,000 people in her chat. And I know she gets more than that. Are you mad about that? I'm sure she is. I know. She won't even say her name. That's what she even kind of said something like, she won't acknowledge me, but my channel was built off of me. That cat hates Katie. I can always tell if somebody comes around and my dogs act a certain way. I know. We have one that she's a pit. She's an English Staffordshire. And so, a bully breed. And so people are scared of her, but she's the sweetest thing. Easier said than, I mean, of course I can tell people, oh, she's fine, but I don't want to tell people she's fine because what if she needs to attack them? What if they're here to hurt me? But she's the sweetest thing, the sweetest thing, the sweet. I can't. She has the sweetest soul. She has brought baby birds to me that she's found on the ground and come up and just kind of like spit them out to me, and look at me like, help it, help it. And I have. I've been able to save them. She's the sweetest thing. If she has a reaction towards somebody, I know it's serious. As long as it's above 0, you're good. Hell no. That ratchet YouTuber. That's right, Unitopia. The YouTuber that will not be named. Emily Baker is a rock star. I love her. She is just a good human. Not only is she a good attorney, is she good at what she does? Is she a good, she put on, is she great on her YouTube channel? She is just a good human, you can tell. And for Katie Joy to talk shit on her just goes to show you what kind of person Katie is. Your mom got bitten by a pit bull. They can be scary. Yeah. It's how they're raised. They can be scary. We found her on the side of the road. My husband did. It was a horrible situation. I don't even know how she survived, but I kept her separated for months until I knew what her temperament really was. I could tell she was very sweet, but I had kids around the house all the time, and young kids, and lots of them. And I didn't let her around them. No way. No way in hell. Are you kidding? Not then. Now, yeah. We have, our little ones that come around, they're around her. She watches over them. Yeah. Lots of bullies are nanny dogs. That's what they were bred for in England years and years ago, to watch over the babies. And y'all, she's just so sweet. But again, I didn't know. So I think it was like 6 months I kept her secluded whenever there were others around. She's the sweetest out of all of ours. But anyways, staffies are daft and huggable. Y'all, I think I showed Bella on my last live stream. We have her. Then we have another one that's pretty much my husband's emotional support dog. She's not certified, but she's definitely a support dog. And I'm really worried about when something happens with her, because she just turned 13 and she's getting old and grumpy, but she's half lab, half pit. And then we've got another one that's, I don't know what she's a mix of, but she's a mix of anything and everything. You name it, she's mixed. And I think I said the other day, she's a type of dog. She's a dog that I would say her daddy is also her uncle. Right? Like I don't even want to know how much inbreeding is in that dog, but she's sweet, sweet, sweet. And we have cats and we have goats. Yeah, my King Cavalier mix. Here he is right here, snuggled up on me, looking at me like, are you done talking? I've been on here 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's time to go, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm going to go live again. I will kind of go through some highlights on these motions next time. I'm not going to go through and read them verbatim. To me, that's boring. I don't know. Mama T, do you have the link to the website? Oh, you know what? I'm on it. Hold on. Let me see if I can post it in here. I don't trust myself, Mama T, but I'm going to try this. Nope, I can't because I'm on my laptop. Go figure. Can you put the link to the website for the Minnesota courts, Mama T or Jennifer P, if you have it? And we'll do that next time too. So if anybody wants to go read the documents themselves, then you can go read them in full. But it's Minnesota Court publicaccess.courts.state.mn, so as in Minnesota. So the public access for the courts, and that's Minnesota Court. So I'm out of here. You guys stay warm. I'm over here sweating. Y'all stay warm. Flava! You'll catch the replay. I had a question for you, Flava. I was telling Misty Mo earlier, she was in chat. I was like, I am so happy to see you over in somebody else's chat now. I don't even know if I told you were a mod, Flava. Anybody that has a channel, for the most part, that I support their channel, that y'all have wrenches. And then, of course, Jennifer P. and Mama T, the best mods in the, and Blake of such great mods. They don't have channels, but they're mods over here. And I have some others that have channels. They have wrenches. So, yeah. I had a question for you, Flav. I forget what it was. Maybe it's because we were just secret mods. I do have a secret mod that does mods sometimes, because she says she doesn't like to chat. It's not that she... Oh, you didn't know that, Flava? Thank you, Mama T. You're welcome, Goose. Flava, when are you live next? You've been a little too quiet for my liking. If anybody wants, if you want to put Flava's channel link in here, I know I keep saying I'm going to go, but so Flava, you can drop your channel link if you want. When are you going live again? I'm telling you, I go to bed so early, y'all. I'm the most boring bitch around. I go to bed at like 8:30. And then, so I always wake up and I'll look for Flava's live to see if she's gone live. I do that with a lot of the people in the drama community, but now I specifically look for Flava's. Pro Charlotte Luke, you are here. We were talking about you. You better say your line so I can pin it. I said my little buddy, that little butthole, he better come in here and say hi to me. Why don't you have a wrench? You're supposed to have a wrench too, Luke. I'll get on that. I am on that. Where's your daily reminder, Pro Charlotte Luke? You have one for Charlotte's channel. There's Flava's channel. Somebody put, Renell Smith. Why is everybody showing up 2 hours late? What? Late to the party? It's always good to see you, Renell. Better late than never. I'm sure you've seen all of the filings. Thank you. Oh, wait. Everybody's super late. Holy cow. Hold on, y'all. I'm now all of a sudden chat's going. It didn't move for 2.5 hours almost. I've been 2 hours and 15 minutes. Oh, Unitopia. you are still in here. Luke, Unitopia had to put up your daily reminder earlier because you have been MIA. I miss you, my friend. I do. I want you to know that. Okay? Because I don't see you around. And that's okay. I want you here in my chats whenever I go live. Do you understand? I'm going to give you a wrench too. You'll be catching up from the beginning. Renell? Pro Charlotte Luke, do you even know what happened? Do you want me to give you the rundown? That was a high-pitched squeal I did whenever you came in here. Your mom goes to bed that early? I've always been that way. I've always been a sleeper. Just because I go to bed doesn't mean I go to sleep, right? But I've never been one to have a TV in the room. I wasn't allowed to as a child, and I stand by that. Too much stimulation, and so I just go lay down. I keep everything low key so it can help me sleep and sleep better. You don't know what happened. Okay, this is what happened, Pro Charlotte Luke. God, there's a lot. I don't even know because it's been a while since I've seen you. Well, there was a hearing October 17th in this case. Katie Joy against 7M, right? 7M Katie Joy. October 17th. And what that was the judge said that Katie Joy could file a motion to reconsider the ruling for summary judgment that they did. And so they had that hearing. Prior to that hearing, 7M filed a motion for temporary injunction because Katie Joy cannot shut up, and she's done some serious things like calling the judge dumb, like basically calling the judge dumbass. And so they showed, 7M showed all that to the court. Well, right before that, 7M filed a motion for sanctions saying that I've got that wrong. Katie Joy filed a motion for sanctions saying 7M hasn't, Robert hasn't provided all of his financial records, right? So October 17th was the hearing, and what was heard, was in regard to the motion to reconsider and the motion for temporary relief, motion for temporary relief. And then they rescheduled a motion, a motion hearing for December 31st at 9 a.m. And what they're going to hear on December 31st at 9 a.m. is the motion that Katie did file saying that, she wants sanctions for him not providing financial information. But since then, he has. So they did an amended filing on that. And some of this stuff is ridiculous. I'm going to go over those motions next time I go live. I'm going to go through them briefly. I'm going to find a way to go through them without having to read them all, like in full. And then Pro Charlotte, Luke, and Flava, and Jennifer P. and all the people, and Renelle. Some of you might know this already. But 7M filed a motion for sanctions and contempt, saying that Katie Joy is in contempt because she refuses to provide her tax documents for her personal tax return, personal tax, and for without a crystal ball. And she also is refusing to disclose certain sources. Are Renelle and Flava just meeting for the first time? She's gonna, right, Pro Charlotte Luke? She's gonna have a happy holiday. So, but Katie Joy thinks she's winning in this, y'all. Okay, she just does. We know this. She thinks she's winning. But the best part of it, Luke, is that in their oh geez, what do you call it? The order that, y'all, I'm brain dead because it's been 2 hours and 20 minutes. The proposed order that 7M states. So the proposed order that 7M has is that if Katie Joy does not comply, and that, well, let's say that the court finds Katie Joy in contempt, and that then she doesn't comply after they find her in contempt. If she does not comply, then they say that the court should order her $50 a day until she does, and or jail time in the Wright County Jail. Can you imagine seeing her behind bars, Luke? Thank you, Cassifras. I love that name. Renelle, I hope you know that you and Southern Mutton are truly the heroes of the Katie Joy saga. We're missing so many people have just fallen off. And I was on my way out, y'all. I was like, I don't know, but when it comes to lawsuit, I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with it, especially now, because when these filings happened last night, I was like, what? I was getting a migraine. I was putting this other video out regarding that shit happening, with Feisty and the TikTok stuff and her stupid ass lawsuit in Ohio. You would love that. I knew you would love that for her. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Katie Joy, and a Happy New Year. Oh my gosh. All right, I promise I'm going to shut up this time. Yes, and you know what? Thank you for that, Snoozy. I really hope Miranda and James have happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever they celebrate. Now, we do know that Miranda and James are close with his family. Okay, so I think that they will. My dog's chewing on a bone now, so if y'all hear something weird. She does, Seabert. She thinks she's better than everyone else. So when I go live next, I will touch base on these motions. What I did go through, Pro Charlotte, like you probably find it interesting, is all the correspondence that happened between Katie Joy's attorney, Jennifer Moore, and 7M's attorney, Amber Stavig, from November up until December 5th. And then December 5th, they had meet and confer. And then apparently everything that Jennifer Moore got out of that meet and confer, Amber Stavig is like, what? How did you get that? None of that was said. That's not what I said. And so then we have all that correspondence. And everything that they said they were going to do within that correspondence are the motions that they did end up filing. Oh, she's not afraid of the Swifties either. That's another thing I'm going to be showing when I go live is a lot of the stuff that she's saying on Reddit. Luke, you are behind. I'm disappointed in you. You have a life? How dare you? All of you in here. How dare you have a life outside of Katie Joy? That's normal in law offices, right? What is? What am I missing, Snoozy? Renelle is one of the sweetest persons on YouTube. Captain, you're not joking. Renelle has always been so sweet to me. The Swifties haven't. They don't even know who she is until she goes after them directly. She goes after them like inadvertently, like she'll talk shit about them. Well, no, she did make some posts about them recently, hasn't she? About the Swifties, kind of. But I will say this, and then I'm going to end it. Katie Joy, I absolutely feel that this is not going to go in her favor. Let's keep in mind right now what the judge is reviewing is her motion to reconsider. I do not see the judge granting that. I just do not see the judge changing their original ruling on this. I don't, especially after Katie Joy called her a dumbass, right? And lied about the courts and said that the courts did X, Y, and Z, which they did not do. 7M provided all of that to them. So that is known. Okay. They're also reviewing 7M's motion for temporary injunction, saying Katie Joy needs to shut up. And that is where the judge heard of all the things that Katie Joy has been saying on the back end. They're saying that Katie Joy is responsible for this raid that happened on Robert Shin's properties. And that's why $105,000 cash was seized. And she keeps getting hacked. Yep. She keeps hacking herself. One day she's just gonna mess up and it's gonna come out that she's hacking herself. I assume she is not given journalistic privileges. No. But I do want to show something where she's saying that she was deemed a journalist. And she's saying that in comments under Reddit. So it's a mess, y'all. It's a mess. Listen, she had this in the bag. I never really wanted to say that in the beginning, but she did. She is screwed up so bad. Now, she thinks if Robert Shin goes to prison because this raid happened, which his team is saying it's because of her, right? If he gets nabbed with anything, I think he will with some white collar stuff, right? But Katie Joy has not provided her tax records because she is banking on the fact that Robert Shin is going to be arrested. She's banking on that. And it hasn't happened yet. So if he gets her tax records, I wonder what will happen with that. All right. So that's what's happening with that. The judge is reviewing all this stuff. The next hearing is December 31st. I'll be going live anyways, but if any more filings come up, I will make a post about it and then I'll go live about it. I appreciate all of you so much. My new member, Snoozy Susie, I appreciate you. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Right now, I'm planning on Monday, same time. I'm just going to go live at 2 p.m. every time, unless something spectacular happens and I need to go live right away and Flava or somebody else is not live. Then I'll do that. But I will see you guys on the next one. Stay warm. It's hot here. I appreciate all of you guys so much. I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.